This scary story revolves around a young man named Lou who had just graduated from college and was still unemployed. The man was also a game addict, as he spent most of his days playing video games. One day he played video games until midnight. It was until he got defeated in the game he was playing that he realized he hadn't had his dinner. Lou had gradually made a habit of having dinner late at night, 12 o'clock at midnight, as everyone was already at sleep. He went outside to find something to eat. That night was not an exception. The man once again went out to eat when it was already dark. All the nearby restaurants were closed, so he had to walk for quite a distance to find one. Eventually Lou saw a small noodle restaurant. He quickly went inside without being hesitant. Actually, Lou had been on the street for multiple times, but it was his first time seeing this particular place. The restaurant owner was a bald man with an angular face. He looked a little bit ferocious, yet always had a friendly look on him every time he met his customer. Immediately, a hot bowl of noodle soup was brought to Lou. Starving, Lou quickly finished the dish so he could get back to playing video games. After leaving the noodle restaurant, Lou saw a figure of someone approaching him. Turned out, it was an old lady wearing ragged clothes. She looked pretty mysterious. The mysterious lady was actually a beggar, as she showed her cracked bowl to Lou, asking him for some money. Although Lou was a boring guy and a game addict, he was kind and generous. He took out the money remaining in his pocket and gave it to the old lady without even thinking about it. Then he returned home in a hurry. It looked like the beggar wanted to say something to Lou. But oddly, on the following night, as Lou went to that noodle restaurant again, he saw the old lady sitting in front of the door as if she was waiting for someone. But what's worth noticing was, as Lou was about to get into the restaurant, she quickly got up and held his hand firmly, not letting him go inside. Her bizarre behavior startled Lou. His face turned pale as he thought the old lady might be mentally ill. Lou tried to push her arm, but the lady refused to let go of him. Not only that, what she said to him became more and more serious. Having no other choices, Lou had to talk to her. He couldn't understand why this old lady was acting in such a strange manner despite having just received his money yesterday. Seeing the uncomfortable expression on Lou, the old lady had no other choice but to tell him everything she knew. She muttered to him that the restaurant was actually a place of evil, therefore he'd better leave soon as possible. Of course, Lou didn't buy what the old lady was saying, as what she said actually made him reinforce his belief that she was not a normal person. After ordering a bowl of noodles, this time Lou no longer stared at his phone like he usually did, as he carefully looked around him yet found nothing suspicious. The ones around him ate their dishes with chopsticks. Some even raised their bowls to slurp the soup, just like him. After taking a good look around, he smirked and assumed that the old lady must not be right in the head to think this place was awful, then continued with his dish. There wasn't anything wrong since the moment Lou came in and left the restaurant, as he loved the noodle soup being served there since it suited his taste, and even considered going back to eat again. As Lou was on his way home, he once again encountered the old lady. Her behavior remained unchanged. This time he was definitely annoyed by her. He was under the impression that the old lady was mentally ill, so he yelled at her. "What do you want from me? I truly wish this would be the last time I saw you." But she didn't seem to be bothered by his unpleasant words. From the pocket she took out a small bottle that contained a green liquid and told him to apply it on his eyebrows to see the true appearance of the ones in the noodle restaurant. Having no other choice, Lou had to take the bottle since he didn't want to be bothered again, and then walked away. And the old lady, she was still standing there until she no longer saw his figure. That night, Lou was struggling to sleep as he was thinking about what the lady had said to him, so he got up and brought out the magical bottle. Suddenly he came up with an idea. Why didn't he give it a try to find out whether the lady had lied to him or not? The following night, Lou decided to go to the noodle restaurant again. While everyone was having their dishes, He took out the bottle, poured the liquid on his hand and then applied it on his eyebrows. He took a deep breath, plucked up his courage and then turned around to look at them. It was unknown what Lou had witnessed, yet his face immediately turned pale. Sweat were pouring. His whole body started trembling. The normal people he had previously seen somehow became lifeless corpses with white eyes and pale skin that were covered with scratches. Some only had their eye sockets. There were ulcers on their skins and they hungrily ate the noodle soup, which looked disgusting. Lou quickly looked down to regain his composure, but what appeared before his eyes was even much more terrifying. Just by the look on his face, one could easily tell he had witnessed something truly disgusting. The thing in front of his eyes was a bowl of noodles that was filled with maggots. He couldn't believe that he had eaten them for the past 2 times he visited there. Scared, Lou tossed the bowl aside. He stood up and screamed in horror. The bowl of noodles got overturned, which caused the soup to spill onto the table. Lou's scream and behavior quickly caught the attention of those around him. They stopped eating as if all of them turned around and looked at him with their white eyes. But Lou didn't even bother to care about them. He quickly ran outside yet accidentally bumped into someone on the way. It was the restaurant owner. He also looked ferocious and scary like the others in the place. He rolled back his eyes, clenched his teeth and asked Lou, "Where are you going, young man? You haven't even paid for the soup." Lou didn't even care about his question, as the only thing appeared on his mind was to escape this scary place. He quickly rushed to the door, yet didn't expect the door to be closed, so Lou couldn't do anything else but to stop despite being trembling scared. As he was about to pay for the soup, the restaurant owner violently grabbed his arms at that moment. He felt like his arms had already been cut off. The restaurant owner didn't insist the young man on paying for his soup, yet he said something strange to him, saying he shouldn't believe what the old lady had told him as she was full of lies. But it didn't matter much to him as who was right or wrong. The only thing he wanted to do was to escape this spooky place as soon as possible. As he finally made it out alive, he once again encountered the old lady. He couldn't understand why she was following him all the time. Days later, the young man still couldn't stop thinking about what had happened to him. Was it the restaurant owner or the old lady that told the truth? Anyway, since that day, Lou no longer dared to go out to eat at night. He broke his bad habits and returned to live like a normal person.